In 2007, Nicolas Cage bought one of the most infamous houses in America, a mansion in New Orleans with a reputation so dark, most locals won't even walk past it at night. It's called the LaLaurie Mansion, and according to some people, that purchase marked the beginning of everything going wrong. The house dates back to the 1800s. It was owned by a woman named Delphine LaLaurie, a wealthy socialite known for hosting elaborate parties. From the outside, everything looked normal, until 1834. A fire broke out inside the mansion. When people rushed in, they found something hidden. Behind locked doors on the upper floors were enslaved people who had been brutally tortured. The details were so disturbing that even officials at the time were shocked. The story spread fast. A mob formed outside, and before anyone could stop her, LaLaurie disappeared. She was never held accountable. After that, the house gained a reputation, not just as haunted, but as something people avoided entirely. Over the years, owners didn't last long. Some refused to live there. Some left quickly. The house just lingered. Then in 2007, Nicolas Cage bought it. At the time, Cage was one of the biggest actors in the world. Money wasn't an issue, and he had a known interest in unusual things, rare artifacts, historic properties, anything with a story behind it. So on paper, the purchase made sense. But not long after, things started to unravel. Within a year, Cage ran into serious financial trouble. Properties were foreclosed. Lawsuits started piling up. At one point, the IRS came after him for millions. And then, just 2 years after buying the LaLaurie Mansion, he lost it. Foreclosed. Gone. There are obvious explanations. He had been overspending for years. Multiple homes, expensive purchases, risky decisions. That alone could explain everything. But in New Orleans, people tend to look at the timing differently. Because this all started after he bought a house tied to extreme suffering, a place many locals believe still holds on to its past. And then there's what happened next. Not long after losing the mansion, Nicolas Cage made another unusual decision. He purchased his own tomb. Not a traditional grave, a 9-foot-tall pyramid, plain white stone, located in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, one of the oldest cemeteries in New Orleans. Just a short distance away from the tomb of Marie Laveau, the city's most famous voodoo priestess. Cage's pyramid is marked with a Latin phrase, omnia ab uno, everything from one. No one has ever fully explained why he chose that design or why that location. But according to local lore, there's a reason. Some locals believe that after his time owning the LaLaurie Mansion, Cage became concerned about what might have followed him, not financially, but spiritually. And according to that belief, placing his tomb near Marie Laveau wasn't random, it was intentional. The idea is that Laveau, even in death, is seen as a powerful spiritual protector in New Orleans, someone capable of warding off negative forces. And by choosing that location, Cage may have been trying to place himself under that protection, to distance himself from whatever might have been tied to the mansion, and possibly to break a curse. Now, none of this is proven. There's no evidence that anything supernatural ever affected him. But in a city like New Orleans, stories like this don't just disappear. Because when someone buys a house with a history like that, and everything starts falling apart right after that, then they build a pyramid tomb next to one of the most powerful spiritual figures in the city, people start to wonder. Not if something happened, but what followed him when he left.